like and subscribe. What was the weirdest thing someone asked you to do during sex? It was Halloween and some friends and I decided to cross-dress as Charlie's Angels. I ordered a vintage 70s tennis dress from eBay and bought a cheap wig. My girlfriend came over before the party and put makeup on me. After the party we went back to my apartment. She told me to stay dressed as a woman while we fooled around. I mentally shrugged and went with it. The next time she was over she requested that I put on the wig and tennis dress again. Not one to argue, I went with the flow. The next time she was over, she arrived with shopping bags, women's clothing in my size and a much better quality wig. I sensed things were getting out of hand. I didn't particularly like dressing up as a woman, but it seemed to really arouse her. She would look at me, and her face would glaze over in a look of lust. Soon it evolved to the only way we'd have sex was when I was dressed as a woman. Things came to an end when I emerged from the bathroom one evening, and she was sporting a robust strap-on dildo. I declined and she got very angry. After all that, I got called a prude. A previous girlfriend once moaned her own name whilst she came. Weirdest and funniest thing I've ever heard. She could never really explain why. She went full Pokemon, dude. In college, I slept with a girl I had been friends with for a while as sort of rebound, after breaking up with my ex for cheating on me. In the middle of it she asks, how does it feel to know someone you loved and held at night was getting all this from someone else? With this sadistic grin on her face. Turns out she was saying this to get me mad, because she wanted to be choked, slapped, gagged, etc. All she had to do was ask, instead of breaking down any dignity I had. Edit, yes I am fine now for everyone asking. This was about 3 years ago. We were already having sex when she said this, and I cold no it keep going. After it was said, I had just began to get over my ex and this girl saying that brought it all back. I got up and left while she was trying to explain herself. She texted me the next day asking what was wrong and swore she never said any of that. Her friend, who was also a good friend of mine, had warned me long before that this girl was nuts, a compulsive liar, and would do things like see how many guys she could date at a time before they all found out. I dated an older woman when I was about 22. She was almost 30 and loved animals. She worked at a shelter, had a bunch of rescue animals, cats, dogs, fish, a bird, etc. She kept very good care of them all. Anyways, when we were getting frisky she was enjoying herself and started saying, "Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?" over and over again. I finally had to bite the bullet and say, "I am." She of course then said, "Yes you are." To be fair, I was being a very good boy. Edit, thanks for the shiny things, y'all are great. Another edit, I realized I've insulted a lot of 30-year-old women. I meant no disrespect lol. It was the first time that I had been with someone that wasn't the same age as me. I meant older as strictly older than I was, not old. I'm sorry if I triggered anyone. Huh, do you like fluffy tails and bunny ears? Me, hell yeah. Huh, gets up, walks out of the bedroom, and comes back with an actual rabbit. Some of it rubbed off on me I think. I have 2 bunnies now. Edit, to clarify, I did not have sexual relations with that rabbit. I did not have sexual relations with that rabbit. Let's call a press conference real quick, so you can tell it to everybody with a straight face. Fart when you come. Not only I don't get how is that sexy in any way shape or form, but how do you force yourself to fart? Not to mention the fear, if I try to do it, I will be the guy who himself while I'm. Edit, well this blew the up. I read all the replies, but I can't respond to all. Thanks for the upvotes, and I laughed at most of the jokes. Surprised how many of you actually like to do this, and a huge thanks for the silver too. Maybe just make a fart sound with your mouth and she cannot tell the difference. Point your toes for me. Dude watched synchronized swimming as porn. What a ing asterisk fascinating asterisk individual. She wanted me to say terrible things about her. That's how I found out physical abuse is much easier to provide on request than emotional abuse. Gosh, you're such a bad girl. Your handwriting is terrible. During doggy, he shoved my whole face down into the pillow and demanded look at me. Semicolon. Not possible dude. Semicolon. It's been a few years, and I still think about it occasionally as a WTF moment. It was with a girl I had been with for a couple of months. Girl said I cannot wait to taste your blood. I responded with I definitely cannot say the same. She was not pleased. She didn't ask this, but while in college, I was friends with a Japanese international student, who introduced me to this girl, who he was friends with, also Japanese. Anyway, long story short, I had sex with her in my friend's bathroom at his studio apartment at some odd hour in the night. She screamed a bunch of things in Japanese. Later my friend, who was pretending to be asleep, told me that she was screaming no. And don't rape me. In Japanese. And no, I wasn't raping her, and she spoke great English. She was just acting out a rape fantasy on her side, that she didn't let me in on. Edit. Alright, I should address this, again, since I keep getting replies on this. I keep getting asked, wouldn't the friend come barging in as he would have believed it was rape? Here is my reply to another Redditor earlier to this question. No. Hence the reason I brought up, that she spoke great English. The way we've all communicated throughout the night. If it was really rape, or if she really wanted it to stop, she would have told me in English. He knows just as well as I do, that she is perfectly capable of speaking English. Hell, if she really wanted our friend to barge in, and stop it all, because for some reason she forgot how to speak English, while in the act, she could have screamed help friend, come forth and stop this rape. In Japanese. Also, thank you for the silver kind stranger. Girl I dated had rape fantasies. It was odd. It escalated from her asking me to hold a knife to her throat to asking for me to hold a gun to her head. Not one to disappoint, I brought my small revolver. Unloaded obviously, and during us she took my hand with the gun, and held it to her head. At that point, she noticed it was unloaded, and said what the? Why are you being such a about this? Nope. Nope. I'm not going to jail. A girl I know, has a boyfriend, that asked her to pee in his mouth, and she was so nervous she pooped, a small nugget, raisin size, on his face. Edit, thanks for the gold and silver. She asked me to run a sharp knife along her back. Enough to break and cut the skin, but not deep enough to require serious medical attention. That was a solid no from me. Pro tip, if you leave a spoon in the freezer and use the edge of it, you can create a feeling similar to a knife edge without cutting someone. It works if they aren't able to see what you're using. She stopped mid-six, and told me put on your Batman mask and treat me like a okay, but did you do it? I was with a woman, and she told me suck my. I obviously was confused, but she said later she just liked the sound of it, when she wanted a dude going down on her. That was her way of playing a dominant role or something. I was probably 25, 26 and she was 23. I wonder what she does, now that Sheila's married. I just imagine she has a sex dungeon room. My now wife then girlfriend of 1 week told me to spit on her face and slap her, then proceeded to cry when I did it. So that was interesting. Edit, but for the first time in my life, I can say this. R.I.P. my inbox. In one night, a girl asked me to do the following. 1. Her on the toilet. I was seated, she rode me. Yes, the seat was closed. 2. Her in the closet. 3. Her in the kitchen, bent over. She demanded I keep saying this is how daddy is sluts. After the first 2, #3 seemed so vanilla. She told me to hit her. I gave her a light slap. But she didn't mean slap her, she meant / hit her, as in with my fist. I didn't do it. I went out with this girl, A, who had a bit more than a blindfold fetish. She would keep it on long after 6, often to the next morning. Then she wanted to go on whole dates surreptitiously blindfolded, with blacked out sunglasses. Her whole personality would change when she was blindfolded, in kind of a nice way, extremely affectionate and very girly. To be honest, I liked blindfolded A's personality a lot better than regular A's. It was weird, but super cute. Eventually, she found a website that sold blacked out contact lenses you couldn't see through, so we could continue in public. We would go out on dates outside our usual circles, where people only knew her as my blind girlfriend. We broke up a while ago, but we still sometimes go out together as my blind friend. These bird box challenges are getting out of hand. Asked for pictures of my teeth. It escalated into requesting full-on dental records. I later learned he had a dental chair set up and everything for sex purposes. Weirdest thing is that he had no dentistry in his background. Yeah, that guy was a serial killer. My father was a dentist. We donated one of his dental chairs to a sex dungeon after he died. The people at the dungeon were thrilled. I jokingly blew raspberries, the thing where you purse your lips and make a fart noise, like on a baby's belly to make them laugh, on my ex's clit at the beginning of what was supposed to be normal cunnilingus. As I switched over to traditional eating, she was laughing and said no, keep doing the other thing. So I brought her to orgasm with raspberries in record time for us, like 3 or 4 minutes. Probably would have been quicker if we both could stop laughing. She was really embarrassed about it for some reason, and wouldn't let me ever do it again despite me trying a few times. Her being easily embarrassed was kinda common. Whenever I was pumping during intercourse and air would get trapped and make that suction farting noise, if I laughed even slightly she'd start crying from humiliation and we'd have to stop having sex. And everyone knows the way to make something infinitely funnier is to demand no one laughs at it. Do not laugh at the silly farting noise. Edit. I wanted to add something important that many people are mentioning in the comments, which is that blowing air into the vagina is dangerous and can possibly cause an embolism, which is very bad and often fatal. Please don't kill your girlfriend/wife with a raspberry. Edit 2. I didn't make it clear in the previous edit, but simply buzzing your lips against a clit seems to be okay. It's directly blowing air into a vagina that can be dangerous. Went home with a girl. After a while she rode me on her couch. Looks up at the ceiling fan and said this is where my husband hung himself, and I lost my chubby. You lost your chubby, she lost her hubby. Edit. Wow. Finally get to say, RIP my inbox. Thanks for the gold, silver, and the upvotes. Pull out her pubic hair. Not very sexy. I'm sure, why not? Had a girl say comfort me, which seemed like weird timing but okay, so I slowed down and got more affectionate. A few minimums later she asked me if I finished. I was like no. She was like then why did you slow down? I was like cause you said comfort me. She was like no, I said come for me. I used to have long hair and people would tell me I looked like Jesus. Anyway, I was eyeing a girl and she asked me to lay down with my arms out and my legs together, as if I were on a cross. It was very weird, but of course I complied. Afterwards she thanked me for being her Jesus. Edit. The same girl once asked me, aren't you gonna lick it off? About my cum on her stomach. Edit 2. I didn't lick my own cum off of her stomach. Dated a guy for a bit who had a mild cuckold fetish. Now that was known at the weird part. He asked me to talk dirty to him about wanting to other guys, and in my book that is a reasonably tame ask, all things considered. No, the weird part is that almost inevitably he would then use this as ammo in arguments, citing that I clearly did actually want to cheat on him because, yeah no, I had made up random fantasies about it, when he had explicitly asked me to do so asterisk. It started as small joking comments, and within a couple months escalated to full-blown meltdowns. I'd tell him that I was not going to indulge his kink anymore. If he was going to act like this about it, I'd apologize and say he would not do it again. Lather, rinse, repeat. One night he got into a screaming, crying fit at me because I had invited him to get a drink with a male colleague of mine who wanted to meet then boyfriend because he was in a career colleague was considering pursuing, and in his mind that clearly meant I was going to sleep with said colleague later and was thus just trying to make him jealous by introducing them. Decided enough was enough and got the hell out of that mess. Edit, *** for the 11 billion people asking. No, I never did sleep with that colleague. He did, however, successfully move into the new field he was considering and seems very happy in it, and I helped teach his new girlfriend to ski a couple weeks ago. You've been visited by the ghost of a very important man. Pay your respects by liking and subscribing, and he'll grant you 3 weeks of good luck.